Crystal, I mean, you've seen the numbers. I mean, I always feel like the expectations for these newly IPO'd companies are sort of out of line with what we would normally expect with a more mature company with regards to like judging them by their fundamentals, right?
If you look at this company, it's up 300% since its debut, and in a way you can argue that it was sort of underpriced at its IPO. So the expectation is really not, given its track record, it's really not something that we would say is outsized compared to what it has delivered. We have seen that it's a pretty rosy performance. It's a pretty rosy results. So yeah, maybe this is actually what they're worth.
Obviously, it's not making any money. It's probably not going to make any money anytime soon, which can be said about some of these other recent IPOs, including Uber and Lyft. They're not making any money either. But when it comes to the business model, what do you think the difference is in why investors are so much more enthusiastic about this particular money loser?
Well, this particular money loser. Well, we look at it, it's a very different sector, right? This is like a consumer play. It's a household name. Like this is something that, you see at restaurant. They talk about expansion internationally as well. Whereas Uber and Lyft, they've already gone through all of that and they've proven that they're not as successful as they want to be. Right. But this one, we have this room of improvement because it hasn't been done.
And I just want to point out to Joe's point, their losses have actually been shrinking on a quarter-to-quarter basis.
So that's something.
So
you got to start.
They're going in the right direction.
Right. And if you actually look at the T-Live blog, and I think this says all about our vague obsession with the company that we're blogging about the numbers out of Beyond Meat. It says a sign of the fake meat is able to stand on its own 2 feet. Discounts accounted for just 7% of sales. So they're managing to bring back their discounts, actually sell at a relatively strong price. What are investors baking in for the future of this company? Because competition is coming. I mean, Tyson Foods actually bought into Beyond Meat before the IPO. They sold out through some disagreement, it would seem. And now Tyson Foods is going to be making its own competitor. They're also backing a competitor of Beyond Meat, which is called Memphis Meats, which actually grows meat out of cells. But competition is here and live, right?
Yeah, there are the ones that we report on a lot, including, Impossible. You see the burgers everywhere. But, they are the most advanced compared to everybody else in the market right now. You see them more than you see anyone else in the burger joint. And they have somehow, managed to creep into your normal burger places where you don't actually think you're having a veggie burger anymore.
Although, Romaine, in some cases, you're not actually having a veggie burger.
Well, yeah,
I have no problem
Have
with
you had it yet?
I think
Beyond Meat and
it's great.
Impossible? Yeah, I've had both of them. It was interesting. But the other thing I thought was interesting too, like when you go into the grocery store and you go into that aisle, I mean, there's a zillion brands. I mean, it's not just Beyond Meat, so it's a very crowded space.
All in the meat bit, the veggie?
Well, no, these are in the frozen food. So Beyond Meat has sort of differentiated itself by putting itself with the pork chops and the steaks and stuff. But I mean, we already heard Maple Leaf, which is a big Canadian company. They say they're going to do the same thing. They're moving their veggie burgers this summer out of the freezer case and into that refrigerated meat case. I guess because they feel like why should Beyond Meat get all the attention?
Apparently, that's what makes them sign a deal, as long as they will only be retailed.
No, Joe's not sold.
Anyway, it's up 15% now, after all. I just want to point that out. I mean, it's going crazy.
It's going crazy, but these two former vegetarians ain't buying it so much.